Okay. Okay, got it. Great. I have a new laptop, and I usually work with MS Teams, so this is the first time with Zoom. Maybe this is the problem.
But we overcame it already, so great.
Yes, thank you.
So René, thank you very much. I already put on record, as we agree.
I've seen.
I understand about our time limits, and it's okay. Thank you anyway for agreeing to meet me. I decided to make it a kind of a gift to our followers in Ukraine. So this sharing some opinions, some experience and ideas would be interesting, helpful and valuable for all of us. Just a few questions, if you allow, and I will appreciate very much if you add something from your point. And I prepared a couple of questions from other people who send them to me. So I'm sure it will be interesting and hot communication, despite this terrible snowing in Kyiv, by the way.
Oh, really?
What about your weather?
It's a dark and gray, and sometimes wet and raining. So it's not Christmas weather.
Christmas already happened in Ukraine in terms of weather.
Yeah.
Okay, well, great. René, again, thank you. And in the beginning, for our auditorium, and of course, for me, if possible, can you describe your personal direction in your activities? How could you name yourself as a professional, as a person in this type of activities, social activities, and so on? Just a few words to present generally, if possible, please.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I always have been interested in a life of people, and I never was a person looking for what kind of career I should have. I always was following my life and following circumstances and following people who I met. And in this way, I became involved as a director of a Dutch parents organization called Helping Hands. And that organization was from parents from people with different kind of disabilities. And actually in this job, which I have done for almost 20 years, I have been developed as a person who focused on the interests of parents, because that was the main problem also in the Netherlands, how to behave as a parent from people with disabilities, looking at society, looking at your own family, looking at professional caregivers, and so on.
Okay, great. Yep, quite understandable. And I have a few ideas of your activities, judging from your press conferences and participation in our local events here in Ukraine. Yeah. So that sounds very interesting, and great that you are active and open for communication, because, you know, one of the main problems, at least here in Ukraine, it's the closeness of people not willing to discuss that kind of problems, that kind of issues. And René, what are the major tasks you approach in your activities?
Do you mean in Ukraine especially?
Not only, but in Ukraine also.
Yeah. Let's focus on Ukraine because and maybe I can tell in a few words how I became involved in Ukraine. It was during my when I had my job as director of this Dutch parents organization, and through my network I became involved with activities of parents in Uzhhorod and Lviv, and that was 2008, and then I saw the need of parents in Ukraine in different ways. And the most important needs I recognized were, on the one hand, there was no place for the children in society, no place meaning being not accepted by society, but also no place meaning having no access to education, to care, and so on. So this was the one part of the need, but the other part of the need I recognized was at parents themselves. They felt ashamed about their child with a disability. They felt not accepted even by their own family, their own parents, for example. And I became convinced that it was important to help parents to overcome this shame and to overcome how to say the loneliness and the isolated position in society.
Yeah, and were they, I mean, parents, were they expressing this need, or they don't understand this need?
Yeah, I not at the first time, because when they feel ashamed about their own situation and their own feelings towards their own relatives, how should it be talking about their problems and their shame to a stranger? So it needs time. It needed time to trust each other, to become into relationship, and within time they shared more and more their feelings. But I have to say, within time doesn't mean within years. It was within maybe 2 or 3 times after we have met each other, then they became to share their feelings. And this, to me, made clear that it is very important, first of all, to invest in relationship and not starting to talk about problems, to talk about, but to invest into relationship and to trust each other. And when you once have relationship and once have trust, then there is a safe environment to share your feelings. But on the other hand, I also learned that it is not something usual in Ukrainian society to talk about your inner feelings. So it's also it's maybe so to say part of introduction of another kind of looking at the life of people, which is more the Western influence to them. Yeah, clear. And again, what are the main needs and problems of our Ukrainian parents you noticed? They mentioned. What are the major problems? I think the major problems are the major problem is that they are not sure about a place, a safe place to live for their children with a disability when they are grown up and parents pass away. This is the main problem. What should become of my child when I am gone? You know, this is the main problem, and it's a serious problem because in Ukraine we don't have sufficient solutions for people with disabilities to live, to work, to have care, to have attention. Actually, we have the old-fashioned internet, on the one hand, or on the other hand, you have the care you can give at home. But there is actually no place in society where people with disabilities can stay, can live, and so on. This is the main problem.
Mm-hmm. And what are the solutions, possible solutions you see or you know?
Yeah, there are different solutions on different levels. Of course, on the one hand, it's important to have a system, a legal system in society, which depends on the policy of your government, to make it possible to create care institutions and educational institutions for people with disabilities. So you, on the one hand, you need a government who recognize the need of people with disabilities and who and that translate that needs into laws, into financial contribution to change the system of care and education for people with disabilities. And this is a long process, so it takes a lot of time. And for that reason, you also need to look for solutions on other levels, and we have different. One of the solutions is come from abroad, from organizations who establish NGOs in the Ukraine and who establish, for example, a daycare center or a supported living center. And I think it's good, but in time, they need to become independent and sustainable. And then again, you need the legal system and the financial system from the government. But it needs to have a beginning and to become started. And at that point, I will put forward the parents, because I believe parents themselves can have a key role in changing a situation in Ukraine, because they are the only one who know the need and who know what is needed for their children the best. And they can start with collaborating to each other. They can start initiating projects, for example, for daycare or for education or for supported living. But they can't do it themselves alone. So they need to become unified and to become a strong group together, because it's the power of the amount of people who can change something in society.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. And what's your personal attitude to another type of solution when younger children take care of older children or people with disabilities? Is it okay in terms of moral values? Is it acceptable in general?
Of course, it depends on the age of them, but in general, I like to say it's very good that people without disabilities take care of people with disabilities, and it doesn't matter whether those people are young or old, whether they are family or not family, whether they are professional or volunteer. People with disabilities in common need other people's people who take care of them. And it always starts in the inner circle of their own family. So it can start, yes, it can start by younger brothers or sisters who take care of the older brother or sister with a disability. But it's just the beginning. When people with disabilities grow up, they need others, and they need specific skills, for example, for specific kind of care. And on that stage, you need more people, and you need other people than just your own family members.
Well, and could it be perceived but by these people, I mean normal people, as an obligation, unpleasant, uncomfortable obligation to take care because they are relatives, because they need to take care of their sisters and brothers?
I think it's you can't avoid the term obligation when you don't choose your own brothers or sisters. So you always have obligations to your parents, to your brothers and sisters, but it's going wrong when there is not an additional system surrounding them to help them and to take away a part of the burden from the care of their own brothers and sisters. So yes, it's an obligation of them, but at the same time, it's an obligation of the society as a whole to take care of the vulnerable. And in a certain way, brothers and sisters from people with disabilities are vulnerable because they stay alone. They also are in need. They also do have other obligations in their life than just their brother or sister. So also they need others who take care of them or who support them or who take away a part of the burden from their shoulders. So what I want to say is you can't speak about care of people with disabilities without having an opinion about the behavior of the society as a whole.
So only in combination, productive combination and cooperation, it's possible to avoid overloading. Moral, physical,
in many ways.
Well, you're absolutely right, mentioning parents as the moving force, as the main source of these changes. At the same time, where to get this energy, where to get this knowledge, experience, and positiveness to do all this? What's your opinion? In hard times, being busy 24 hours and so forth.
This is a very recognizable problem, recognizable issue, because yes, parents are busy, parents are overloaded, parents are in need. So how to start collaboration with other parents, how to start new initiatives in such a time? It's difficult on the one hand, but and this is what I learned when I was a director in the Netherlands of a Dutch parents organization. Collaboration of parents, not just the result of collaboration, not just is to have more work, to have a bigger responsibility, but it also gives you as a parent some help. For example, when parents meet each other, they recognize each other's needs, and in recognition, there in this aspect there is some help, because you as a human being needs the recognition from others that your questions are right, that your problem not is your personal problem or not is related to you as a person or your personal behavior. So this is the first thing you have as a profit when you collaborate as parents with each other. Second, parents can learn from each other. They can share their problems. They can share their discussions about, for example, the behavior of their child with a disability. And in this way, they can help each other to make it easier to take care for their children. So parents together into parents organization, into collaboration, not just have to put effort into collaboration, but they also have profits from collaboration. And once they have this experience, they can see the balance between input and between profits. And in this way, it's possible to have a contribution as a parent in a parents' organization, even when you are busy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed. And how can you describe generally or specifically the happiness of a child with disability? What's the main components of this happiness, judging from your experience?
Yeah, I think people with disabilities don't be different from people without disabilities in their basic needs, and the most basic need is love. So when people with disabilities, children with disabilities, need love, this is the most important gift to become happy.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and coming back to cooperation and communication, do you believe in international level of communication between parents of children with disabilities, or it's more local stuff?
I surely believe in international cooperation, because we can learn from each other, from different experiences in different countries. So and it's true that some countries have more facilities, more experiences with caring people with disabilities than others. So international cooperation can be very fruitful for all parents of children with disabilities. But I have to say, we always have to be aware of the cultural and historical and economical and political differences between countries. And this means that you not always can copy and paste experiences or knowledge from the one country into the other country. You always have to recognize the specific national or local habits or obstacles or anything else. So it's yes and no. Yes, because we can learn a lot from each other, but sometimes no, because the specific situation needs specific answers which cannot be imported just from other countries.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's clear how foreign parents and the parents' community can be interesting and useful for us. And how can we in Ukraine be useful for you, for parents' community abroad? What's your idea?
My idea, and it's based on my experience with a lot of parents in Ukraine, is we can learn a lot of their strength. I think strength is the word which is the most which is the most important, because looking at these circumstances, I often was amazed about how strong parents from children with disability are, and how I always ask myself, how is it possible to carry on in such a difficult situation? And it's the strength, and strength is combined with love again, because it's the love for their children, that they carry on despite the difficult situations. So this is the most important thing I learned from parenthood in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what about your future plans on cooperation with Ukraine or your own professional activities? Can you share some of them?
Yeah. I think there are looking at Ukraine. It's a very big country. There are many people with disabilities. So there is a lot of need, and my experience just was until now in 6 cities in Ukraine. You know, it's spread over Ukraine from Uzhhorod to Kharkiv, but just 6 cities. And our ambition is to spread out our activities with parents over more places, more cities. And this is because I believe in the power of the united parents. And I have seen already results from parents who cooperate, parents who initiated initiatives together for example, better education, parents who as a group established a special school for their children with disabilities, for example. So I think parents can do, in this situation, can do better than the government, because they are extremely motivated to change something and to create a better future for the children with a disability. So it's my ambition with my organization working in Ukraine to meet more parents and to give support to more groups of collaborating parents to support them in improving the life of people, of children with disabilities.
Great. United parents sounds great, really great.
Yeah.
The slogan.
United. Yeah, it's a good slogan, and it's already in the name of our organization, Parents Squared, which expresses the power of the collaboration. It's exponential. Because one parent can do anything. 2 parents together can do something more. 4 parents together are already a group and can have the power of a group. And so this is how it works. By raising the number of parents who collaborate, they can do much more, not just because they are with a lot, but into the group, looking into the group, you have in a group different strengths, different experiences, different skills, different knowledge, and you can use it in projects used for creating care or education for children with disabilities. Yeah. So the power of the group is very important in many ways.
Multiplication of resources. Yeah. Okay. René, can you share a couple of your personal golden advices to Ukrainian parents?
Yes. When you ask me this directly, I have to think a little bit about, but let's just try to start. Golden advices to parents. The first would be don't stay and remain in your own house and in your own family. Step outside with your child with a disability. And talk about your child with a disability, show your child with a disability in society, because the society needs to become used to see people with disabilities and to accept people with disabilities. This is the first. Second is again, start looking for colleagues, other parents with children with disabilities, and doesn't matter what kind of disability. The disability themselves is the connecting issue. Start looking for other parents with disabilities and ask yourself, what can I learn from others, and what can I teach other parents? Yeah. It's a two-way direction. The third advice would be try to set some personal goals for your own child with a disability and you as parents at the same time. Try to set personal goals, and not just a goal when your child now is, for example, 2 years old. What is the goal when my child become 20 years, but also short-term goals, because in going forward step by step from little aim to little aim, you can change and improve the life of your child with a disability. And the fourth advice would be dare to ask others to help you. Dare to ask. Because people don't help you automatically. They need to be convinced about the need of help. And there's just one way to convince others about the need to help. It is to tell about your need and to tell about your problem. To share,
Thank you very much for your golden advices. And from my side, let me say that with the DCP Help and larger communities and other organizations and communities, we are very open and ready to communicate, to cooperate, to share, to be interesting, to be interested, to be valuable, to bring our experience, to bring our knowledge and vision of the problems, and not only problems, but tasks, goals, and technologies, how to achieve these goals. And in fact, you're absolutely right. For a long time, we feel and experience the deficit of such communication. First of all, personal type of conservatism and closeness. And the second, the social aspect of this closeness. So thank you and your colleagues for being initiators and activists of such movement, because we really need it. And again, with my organization and others, we are very open to different projects, and we would like to be a part of a larger communities. So finally, maybe a couple of wishes before Christmas to our communities, to our parents. Can you share some few thoughts and feelings?
Well, I was thinking about Ukraine people with disability and their parents, and about Ukrainian society as a whole, especially nowadays, because it concerns me that there is the treatment from the threat of war, looking at the Russian movements on the border of eastern part of Ukraine. And I really hope and I really wish Ukraine shall remain independently and shall remain as a peaceful country in which all people can have a peaceful life, people with and people without disabilities. So my wish, especially nowadays, should be peace for Ukraine, and peace for all those who live in Ukraine, and of course, especially for children with disabilities and their parents. And I hope they will believe, it's my second wish, I hope parents from children with disabilities will believe that, yes, there is a chance for a better future for your children with a disability. Don't just look at the past, don't just look at the circumstances now, but do look at the chances we have when we start to find each other, and when we start to move together with each other, because there's a lot of power in people who are motivated from inside, because it's about their own child. And never underestimate the power of parents who love their children.
Well, great. It's really very important. And thank you for such warm and sincere words. From my side, thank you again very much for finding time for our meeting, and best and all other wishes, Christmas and New Year wishes to you, to your community, to your country, to your people, to your family. And I am sure and I hope we will meet again soon, online and probably offline. I'll be happy to meet you here in Kyiv or in other Ukrainian cities. And anyway, to continue our communication and cooperation.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very pity that we didn't have finally the ability to meet each other a few weeks ago, but it still is on my list to arrange a new meeting. And maybe we can think about some activities to do together to present each other's work and organizations. And okay, it can be online, but I still believe in the strength of offline meetings, because movements will start when people look into each other's eyes.
Vibrations, energy,
yes,
and so on.
Yes, you know. So I hope once COVID we will overcome COVID or anything in any way. And I think we need to restart offline activities, especially with parents. When they meet each other, then something magic happens.
Yeah, absolutely right. So thank you again very much, and have a great trip to United States.
Thank you.
And have great holidays, whatever you celebrate. But anyway, the series of winter holidays here in Ukraine, we celebrate Catholic Christmas, Orthodox Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year, and so on.
Yes.
We're very fond of celebrations, despite all these pandemic and problems.
We do the same. We were in doubt whether we should leave or not, but we have the appointment with my brother-in-law in California to celebrate Christmas and New Year there, and we decided we will continue as long as rules will allow us.
Okay, we are in time, René.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was positive and gives me personally a lot of excitement and energy to do more. And with great pleasure, I will share the record and my notes from our meeting with my colleagues, with friends. And let's have it as a start, as an example and a sample of cooperation and communication despite all the problems.
Agreed. Okay. Thank you very much, Ruslan. It was nice to meet each other.
Yes, definitely. Thank you and have a good day.
Thanks. The same. Bye.
Goodbye.